guess I just get tired of waiting to feel alright. Maybe that's alright. I got a whiplash fascination with 1,000 ways to let you down. I sit here poking at my bruises. Maybe that's alright. Maybe it's alright. The sweetest notes stick like a key in the throat. The emptiness is mine, I guess, and that's alright. That's alright. Home is so complicated. A rattle when I wanna settle down. A sleepy head filled up with sparrows all night. Alright. The sweetest notes stick like a key in the throat. Can't finesse one single S, and that's alright. That's alright. It's alright. Maybe, oh just maybe, I'll take my chances as I'm falling. Vines and wind until I find there's flowers in my wake. If life was fair, I'd be in trouble. The sweetest notes stick like a key in my throat. Happiness is such a mess, and that's alright. It's alright. It's alright. That's alright. Ooh.
What have we become? United in hate. When did we become a divided state? Don't hate me because I'm not like you. Don't hate me, it's just a point of view. When did we become divided by hate? What have we done? Divided state. Don't hate me because I'm not like you.
God, is the intro always that loud? God, like rattled my bones. What's happening? This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. We're at it once again on this Wednesday. Hey, Laura, what's happening? Hope you're well. Gregor, what's happening, man? And what's happening in Scotland? Sunny Scotland. I hear it's about as hot in Scotland right now as it is in New York City. You know? Mr. Hollis, never too hot to watch an episode of the New York. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to today's show. You know, I'm a little burnt out talking about New York hardcore. So I'm looking forward to chopping it up a little bit and getting to some other stuff, some other stuffs today. Greetings, Drew from LA. Always a good day. Best podcast. All right. Thank you. Is it a podcast? Is this really a podcast? I tend to think it's a live video streaming show. Podcast is something you like, is audio. You put it on and you go jog around the block a couple of times. This is a live video streaming show, all right? Just get your shit together. Hey, I want to mention right here, right now, the next 4 shows. There will be no show. There'll be a no-show this Sunday because we are doing a Bowery Electric event. But a week from today, John Gussman from artist musician from Rule Them All, Restless Spirit, Dead Last, and John the Movie will be on the show, trying to get some younger people on. Just can't have old timers day all the time. You know what I'm saying? God. Sunday, July 31st, Don Foos will be on. He's got a new book, formerly of the Spud Monsters, Run Devil Run, and One Life All In. Sunday, August 7th, You Asked For It, You Got It, Death to False Metal, Ross the Boss from Manowar, The Dictators in Shakin' Street. And then Wednesday, August 10th, Mike Pooch and Chris Rafalowicz from See Through You, their new project, will be on. And we will be chopping it up with them. If you're wondering what is happening this Sunday and why we are not doing a show, it is because it is the New York Hardcore Chronicles and Godfather's Bar. Back to the New York Hardcore Roots series show at the Bowery Electric. All ages, free. Sub-Zero, Brick by Brick, Kings Never Die, Dead Crew, Mad Mulligans, and there will be a Pitchfork pop-up shop outside. Come on down. It's free, you friggin' cheap bum. Get your ass down. Oh, yes, and it's Stephen Messina's birthday. That's right. Yeah, where are the young bands? Hey, man, trying, bro. Trying. Yo, a lot of young bands don't want nothing to do with this. They're on their own. They got their own agenda. Just like when you were young, when I was young, right? Is that right? The show is Donahue 2022. All right. Somebody tried to insult me recently. He's called me like the Johnny Carson of hardcore, like it was an insult. I was like, I'd be more insulted if I was like the Jerry Springer of hardcore, but Johnny Carson of hardcore, like, is there a greater compliment than that? People are crazy, man. I'm sorry if you hear for the first time I have the air conditioner running in the background because I don't want to suffocate while doing. I know, right? How is that, right? Drew Stone, this and that, Johnny Carson of hardcore. I'm like, huh? It's like when people, the same person posted a photo of me a while back with long hair and was like, look at this guy. I'm like, look at this guy what? I had long hair in the late 80s and early 90s. Like, so what? Who didn't? Right? It's a crazy world. That said, let's do photo of the day. Stephen Messina is actually not going to make it. He's at Carnegie Hall shooting something and he had to get called away. So it's just you and me, kids. Here we go. Photo of the day. Wrong answers only, please. There you go. Wrong answers only, please. There you go. What do you got? Is it? That's right. Grow your hair, shave your head, can't please them all. Artificial peace. I saw artificial peace open for the Bad Brains back in the day. Is it Cyndi Lauper? Is it Cyndi Lauper? You guys aren't spelling Cyndi Lauper right, I don't think. Yeah, that's not how you spell Cyndi. I had to look at the Ilago poster behind me. Is it Be Kind? Is it good one? Is it the D-Gen reunion? Good one from our cat. Is it the Degeneration reunion? Right. Is it Ronald McDonald and the Happy Meals? Is it the return of the Living Dead punks? Is it Ziggy Stardust? Is it the Cranberries? Close. Is it the Eurythmics? Closer. Is it the Lunatics? Is it Axl Rose back in the day? Listen, I saw Axl Rose back in the day, so slow your roll. He was something else. Is it Buck Cherry? Is it Twisted Sister? That's pretty much the best one. Is it... Okay, how about this? Let's start with this. Does anybody know who's playing bass in that picture? Come on, who's that playing bass? Anybody? For real. For real. Get your hardcore head out of your asses. Anybody? Anybody know who's playing bass right there? Let's see. Is it Sydney Launcher? Is it How to Ruin the Christmas Musical? No. Butch, no. Hey, Dave, what's up? No, Butch Vig is playing drums, isn't he? You know, some old guy. Good. And it's not Zum either. No, it's not. Come on. Hey, Dave Scott, Adrenaline OD. Get ready. AOD show coming up. That's right. That's Eric Avery, formerly of Jane's Addiction, who plays bass in this band. Okay, right answers only, please. Let's see. What do we got here? Here's another shot. Okay, right answers only, please. Is it, what is it? Is it Garbage? I believe so. Is it Pantera? No. Is it Waste Disposal? Is it Rubbish? Close. Is it Trash? Close. It is Garbage. It is Shirley Manson. Is that right? Garbage. Just saw them with Tears for Fears. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see Tears for Fears, you know? Is it Garbage? Yes, it is Garbage. Now, yeah, no shit. That's Eric Avery. Eric Avery plays bass in Garbage. Right. Yeah, let me dig out that other picture again. That's right. He had enough of that Jane's Addiction circus, and he thought he'd get involved in this one, you know? Where is... Here it goes. Yeah. This is it? Here you go. Yes, this is Eric Avery. Correct. Yep. Yeah. They ruled opening for Tears for Fears. Yeah. Shout. Let it all out. Good Edinburgh lass, Shirley. Right. She's from Edinburgh. There you go. Steven wanted me to say that they just called for me. I got to do this. If I don't make it back in time, the shots are garbage at Jones Beach last month while touring with Tears for Fears. The bassist Eric Avery, you know from the original Jane's Addiction lineup. There you go. Yep. So everybody wants to rule the world. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, and we are sponsored by Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, DeWolf Publishing, and New York Hardcore Comics opened. Hold on, let me get my act straight here. New York Hardcore opens back in 2013 when lifelong friends Debo Pro and Lee Fairley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys and statues, magic, the gathering, and all things horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in Dobbs Ferry, New York, open 7 days a week and shipping worldwide. Contact them via email at newyorkhardcorecomics@gmail.com or www.newyorkhardcorecomics.com. Come on now, Organic Grill. It's a vegan restaurant now located in the West Village of New York City at 133 3rd Street, right next to the Blue Note. Right next to that disgusting 7-Eleven also. Featured in New York Magazine, New York Times, and Veg News, their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Goddamn Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties, and every dish on the menu could be made gluten-free for all you gluten-free motherfuckers. This year, they're celebrating their 23rd anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. They have now fully reopened for business and look forward to seeing you. Get in touch with them. Order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. Last but not least, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, our handmade soap and skincare company with a rock and roll spirit. Based in Nashville, Tennessee, they combine their love for rock music and their love for creating products that are good for your skin and good for your soul. Since 2019, they've been creating high-quality, natural, handmade soaps and skincare products with ethically sourced and sustainable ingredients. They give 10% of their net proceeds to local and community outreach programs. Visit the website at www.grungeandgrimesoapcompany.com and enter the code DREW to get 20% of your first order. That said, I think we're good. Is everybody behaving themselves? Yes. Is this the first show Steven's missed? No, there's been one or two other ones. You know, there's been one or two. That said, let's bring our guest on. Let me clear the deck. What the heck? Boom, boom, boom. And away we go. Today's guest is an American bass guitarist, singer, and songwriter, Malin, from the Tar Heel state of North Carolina. She is best known for her work with Jesse Malin, Ryan Adams and the Cardinals, Grace Potter and the Nocturnals, Willie Nelson, and Jack White. She is currently a member of Puss in Boots with Nora Jones and Sasha Dobson, and has recently released her first single, Maybe It's All Right, on Velvet Elk Records, which I played at the beginning. Please welcome, coming at us from Asheville, North Carolina, Miss Catherine Popper. Hey.
What's up, man? Hey, everybody.
How are you?
I'm doing good, you know, just eating grits, and I'm not eating any of that stuff. Whatever Southern people eat, I'm not eating. So anyway, I'm fine. I'm hanging out with my mom.
You're just saying you're eating grits. Is grits part of the daily the cuisine down there growing up and all that?
No, I grew up in Charlotte. It's like a city. I just talk like I eat highway dirt, but I've been in New York for 30 years. Like, I come down here and I can't believe that people want to live here.
Asheville
no disrespect to the South. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you better watch it here. You know, it's a worldwide audience. Don't piss anybody off.
I'm gonna do that by accident, but I'm just saying I love New York City. I love New York City. I can't imagine people are coming down here. So I'm always like, really? You're gonna go down there? But,
yeah, people are getting out of New York right now. It's a little crazy here, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even
yeah.
Hey, Mom,
I'm on air. Well, now you have to come say hi.
There you go.
Wouldn't it be crazy if like a naked dude walked by and the whole mom thing was just a story?
Yeah, we sort of roll with it, you know. How did you come up? Did you go? Well, actually, what's the latest? What's been going on since the zombie apocalypse? Fill us in on sort of the last 2 years.
Well, I got a little bit burned out on touring. So I was playing on a couple Broadway shows, and I was playing on one that got shut down during the pandemic, and of course, the thing did. So I started writing, you know, recording at home. I mean, I sort of have been writing my own stuff, but I just was recording at home, like really casually, I'll say. And a friend of mine, Jesse Malin, was like, you should let us put out this single. And I said, why? I didn't trust it. I was like, why? What do I have to do? What are you going to make me do? And he said, nothing. It's just, you know, it's a good idea. And now I listen to it and I'm like, shit, because I've gotten so much better at home recording. But so I've been writing and, you know, just doing like odd gigs. And I'm actually working on an interview show. It's nothing like this. So my hands are off the, you know, off of this whole realm. It's a film show.
Yeah, you don't want none of this.
No. It's more of a I've done 4 interviews, and we take people to do something really dumb and talk about maybe the stuff that you don't. We just have really dumb. We talk about farts. I don't know. It's just a really stupid show, but it's been going really good. So that's sort of what I'm focusing on. And my day job is, of course, still playing music.
Did you tell us? Did you grow up in a musical household? How did you come up?
I didn't grow up in a musical household. I just, my parents, there was a shitty old piano and I was always playing it. My parents, like, they said, we should send you to music lessons. And then school started playing the upright bass when I was about 10. And I mean, I don't know why I picked that one. And
Yeah,
then
why would a little girl want to play upright bass?
Well, I played violin for like a few months, and
Okay.
that's a rough thing to be bad at because the person who's hearing it the loudest is you.
It's like being bad at piano. I took piano lessons and like it wasn't happening, and it like freaked me out. I ended up bailing out and singing for a hardcore band after that.
See, that just makes so much more sense because violin, like, it's pointed right at your face.
Yeah.
So I said, what's the opposite of this? And they said, girls play cello. And I was like, well, there's a bigger one that I saw Sting play. That was my big thing was,
Ooh.
Police.
Is that right?
So yeah, the Police. I just, the good Police. Well, whatever. I like some of Sting's records too.
Yeah. But those first couple of Police records were really great.
So great. Yeah. So yeah, I just was playing classical music, but I would drag my bass around to, like, in high school, I had a station wagon. I would go to the Irish contra dance and like learn Irish contra dance tunes. And I would go to hardcore shows. I never was able to play punk. Like, I can't get the pick thing down, but I used to go to punk shows in Charlotte. And I used to go to a bluegrass session. So the Irish music and the bluegrass. And then I came to New York to go to, I went to Manhattan School of Music. And
Let me ask you, I saw you mention something about going to a local hardcore show when you were growing up and like, you got to tell us that story. That sounds funny.
I just thought I was a lot tougher than I was. Like, I wasn't a tough kid, but I was like too chicken to get like in the pit. I don't know. They call it slam dancing when I was a kid. Like, moshing is like, I don't know what that is, but so I would stand on the edge of the pit with my arms crossed, and some big dude just comes flying right into my nose, and I had a broken nose. I'm 15. My mom thinks I'm at the movie theater, so some scumbag like sets my nose in the parking lot. Is like theater car, and I get
like some hardcore triage right in the parking lot.
Some scumbag, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, and so then I got home and told my mom I ran into a door at the movie theater, and she's like,
I was at the movie theater. I was at the movie theater with Jill and Nancy, and like I ran into the door and I broke my nose.
Just like black eyes. But I was pretty much a good kid. Like, what is that noise? Mom! Your phone is making a noise. I know, I can't find it. So my mom can't find her phone. So, this is why I'm here helping. But anyway, yeah, I was like a good kid. I didn't do a ton of drugs, but I loved going to see, like these great bands at like 4808, Milestone, like all these old clubs. And
where this was in, where was this again?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
And what were clubs that you remember in Charlotte back then? So
there was a club called the Milestone. It was tiny, and I'm trying to think who came through there. I don't think I ever saw Guar, but like Dinosaur Jr. Who were the Charlotte the guy? They were like, he was like a Gigi Allen guy in Charlotte. Anti-Scene.
A Gigi Allen guy. That's scary.
I saw Anti-Scene a few times, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, it was fun, but I was like, I just feel like I'm watching somebody hurt themselves. Anyway, it was fine. But I just
a similar thing happened to me. I was at the Rock Hotel on Jane Street at New Year's Eve. God. New Year's Eve, 81 to 82, maybe. I was watching Discharge, and I was standing there with my mouth open, and somebody hit somebody who hit someone whose head went back and hit me right in the mouth. And all of a sudden it felt like I had a mouthful of sand, and it was just like pieces of my friggin' teeth, And that was a bummer. And Yeah, it's everybody's
It
got
just
that.
I was like, I'm a good kid, you know. I went to the there's like a picture of me at a Fugazi show right up front, and there's kids like Pat the Rappers. Mom saw that show recently, and she was like, "You were in orchestra. Like, what happened? What did we do wrong?" It's like this fire hazard, and all the skins were in the back, like, you know, pushing people up front, so we were all getting crushed and stuff. I don't know. This shit was a good time, but it was I can't believe I'm just some music nerd.
Hobo Cakes asks, were there any bands in particular that made you want to pick up the bass?
I mean, I was such a Police fan. It started out with Sting, but immediately, you know, I started listening to, again, like, I don't know why you're having me here. I mean, I know you're kind of heady and you're into like some of that head
No,
stuff.
we
do everything here.
We do everything
Okay.
here.
Well, I would say Sting, Ray Brown. I was a huge Ray Brown, you know, jazz fan, the Oscar Pearson Trio, and Mike Watt. I was a big before I got into the Minutemen. I checked out. I was in Firehose, which I guess is, you know, the backwards way to get into Minutemen. But I just thought Mike Watt was the coolest.
Yeah. And I also read that you grew up listening to James Jamerson, The Clash, and Family Man Barrett.
Yeah, that was a little bit later, like when I got a car and I could start going to record stores. And you know how it was. Like, I'm 48. Long time ago, if you wanted to listen to different kinds of music, you had to go to a bunch. Maybe it wasn't the same in New York, but down south, you had to go to 5 different music stores.
Right.
Like, there was a place on, you know, in kind of the bad part of town where you'd go get the like reggae records, and then there was a place, you know, like some really big shithole that would have the, you know, the hardcore records, and then there was a, you know, a nicer place where you could get the jazz records. But, you know, and then, you know, you could go to the record bar or whatever, but it was, I have to go to several different places. There wasn't a record store that just had all the different genres.
And once you started playing at a young age, did you immediately get into a band or start playing like with people, or was it just kind of studying for a couple years, that kind of thing?
I didn't play in a band until I was like, I didn't play electric bass until I was almost 30 years old.
Wow.
So, you know, when I was 15, I was telling my mom I want to be in a band. I loved REM too, those old REM records. And I was like, I want to be in a band with these guys. And, you know, they were 35, and my mom's like, it's not happening. So I was playing in orchestras and, you know, ensembles. And when I moved to New York, I was playing pretty much exclusively jazz. I did a few bluegrass gigs, and I was in a klezmer band too.
Come on now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I'm klezmer band. Wow, I didn't see that coming.
Dude, I was like a genre. That's one thing I love about New York is it's the only place I've ever been where they have almost any genre of music that I want to play.
Sure.
And being a bass player, every kind of music uses a bass. So it was like, I'm like a kid in a candy store in New York, you know?
Yeah, klezmer, you know, I sent you the trailer for my new film, and I got into klezmer, you know, doing that film, and learned a lot about it, and went and saw the Klezmatics play and all that. And yeah, they're cool. Klezmer is pretty banging, you know.
It's amazing. And I played, you know, I played like a lot of Jewish weddings. I played in wedding bands and stuff. So it wasn't until I guess I was like 20. Yeah, actually, I forgot about that. When I was about 22, somebody enlisted me to play bass in a band called Shimmerhead, and we played at we played at Brownies, and yeah. So it was, you know, but I was like just not a rock bass player. I just hadn't.
Well, that's why we love you, because you're coming from a different direction.
Just yeah. What is this called? The left turns. You called this the show is called Side Trips.
Side Trips. That's right.
Yeah, I like it.
You know, Brownies is an interesting place. There used to be that circuit here in New York. There was like Brownies, Nightingales. Yeah. What else there was like a couple, and a lot of interesting bands came out of there, like Spin Doctors and Blues Traveler, and those bands, you know, really came out of that that scene.
And
And actually, and that's right. RS70 says that's right. CBGB's stood for Country Bluegrass. That's right. Bar.
That's right.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
remember the Spiral, that place on Houston?
Us, of course.
And
the Spiral, the Nightingales, Brownies. Now Brownies ended up. Our friend Jesse Malin ended up with Brownies, right? And that's that was Coney Island Baby, and I forgot what it's called now. I think he still still has it.
Yeah, it was Hi-Fi. It was
that's right. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called now. I haven't been there since they changed the name, but
yeah. But that's but when I was doing my homework, I was like trying to figure out. I was like, wow, it seemed like the dates of you being in bands and playing in records were like later on, and I was like, what did she get going in a band that late? Right?
It's true.
Yeah.
I was like not sure what to do with myself because I was a jazz musician, but I just the jazz scene it's a bummer. And being a woman at the time, I played with I played with the Duke Ellington band. Like I did some great gigs, but it was kind of like people were not always happy to see me. It's fine. So it wasn't until like I had a part-time job. I worked at the World Financial Center. I worked across the street from World Trade. So I temped. I'd do like a few weeks of temping and play, bebop gigs 5 nights a week. And then I started playing with a band called Helm, H-E-M, that was like am I jumping the gun?
No. Go ahead.
I'm like saying your questions that you were going to ask. And
listen, we go where the horse leads us on this show. And I like just watching the show. So if you could continue to do that, I'd appreciate it.
I could talk a dog off a meat wagon.
I just want. Can I just sit back and watch the show for a change?
I know. I want to watch so I can make shitty comments. Like
yeah. So let's hear about Helm. 3 albums.
3 albums. It was sort of like countrypolitan. It was beautiful music. I don't even remember. I don't remember how they got my name. But it was Stratosphere Studios. It was a recording studio in like the West Village or something. It was James Eha's studio and Adam from Fountains of Wayne. So that was like a whole scene. And we got a huge Interscope Records, Lenny Waronker, Bumped Up. And we just, we did a bunch of touring. It was Upright Bass. And then I think from there, I got a call from Ryan Adams, and he said that Eha and he never told. I said, who? How did you even get my name? And he's like, I'm not going to tell you. He was a prick about it. So I know he got it from Eha and somebody else, but he was like, I'm not going to tell you.
So then you fell in with the Ryan Adams crowd, and you did a nice run with them. I'm looking for a picture here. Tell us a little bit about just sort of the Ryan Adams days. Oops, I'm sure the two of them get confused once in a while, right?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah,
we were actually playing a festival in Australia, and people would always yell out "Summer of '69." So one day he just started playing it, and great. I was like, we just started to play. I was like, So we all just launched into it, and then we get to the bridge, and the bridge is like one of those. We just completely fell apart at the bridge, but we can say that we played it for a moment. It was the funnest gig, you and I have talked about this before. I used to drink and partake a lot, and that was a good time to be doing that.
Yeah.
It's been about 15 years since any of that happened, but we had a good time, and I learned a lot about being a rock bass player, because I used to like the drummer. He's like, Brad Pemberton, he would say, it's so, what you do is so strange because you don't play with the kick drum as a bass player. And I grew up, again, in my 20s, I was listening to James Jamerson, I was listening to Paul McCartney. And so I thought, well, if you're playing the kick drum, why do I have to play that? I'll play something else. So it was, there was a lot of fun exploration, and I'm definitely confident the last few years. Yeah, it sure has.
Now, you sent me a couple of pictures. Is this Ryan Adams?
No, that's Brian Fallon.
Close. I was close.
Yeah, so Drew asks for some pictures, and I most of the pictures I have are of me being like a jackass backstage with people, and most of the pictures of me on stage, I'm in the back as a bass player should be, or I just don't keep them. So there's not you don't have a lot of pictures of me playing, I don't think.
Okay, let me try another one. Okay, another one that I had to guess at, and I was like, could this be Ryan Adams?
This is my favorite thing.
This?
No, that's Tommy Stinson.
Okay, we'll get back to that one. That's Tommy Stinson, huh?
Yeah, man, I did. I played on a Bash and Pop record and did a tour with him.
Okay, I'm taking charge. I'd like to talk a little bit about, and I know you mentioned it, but bluegrass influences.
Oh yeah,
because I'm a big bluegrass fan, and I'm a big Peter Rowan fan, and I see you're on stage here with Peter Rowan and Tony Rice, who's just a game changer to me. Early bluegrass influences, bluegrass that you love when you were coming up?
I mean, my family are pickers. Like my dad is off the boat from Romania, grew up in New York City, but my mom's family were like white trash, Scotch Irish. So they've always been pickers. I just grew up, the big standards, Ralph Stanley and the Levon brothers, like I guess Levon brothers is more country in it. I don't know if that's a line, but when I got called for this gig, it was fucking hilarious because I think maybe the first gig was like the Telluride Bluegrass Festival, and Peter Rowan called me and he's like, can you do the gigs? We worked it out. And he said, I said, send me the tunes, I'll learn them. So he sends me like 5 records. And I was like, I'm going to wait for him to narrow down, the tunes, right? So he never does. And then finally he says, you know what? The day of, come to my hotel room and we'll play through some of the tunes. So I go to his hotel room. We don't play through any tunes. We just talk about nothing. So I get on stage at it's one of the big bluegrass festivals. And I don't know, he has a huge hit called Midnight Moonlight.
Of course.
I'd never heard it.
I mean, and also White Dove. Doesn't he do White Dove? I don't
know that one.
But Midnight Moonlight is Landed in Navajo. Yeah, it's like the standard. So we're playing all the, it's a festival. We're playing the hits, and I don't know any of them. And so my friends were getting a kick out of sending me the reviews, like from the fan sites. People were like, "This new bass player sucks ass." Oh, geez.
Just guessing how this shit went. I was like, he's like, gives me a mic too. He's like, yeah, sing if you want. So I'm like,
isn't this Merlefest? Isn't that the that big festival that
oh yeah, Doc Watson, Merle Watson.
Doc Watson, right?
Doc Watson is like he's probably my favorite.
This is Doc Watson's thing, right?
This Merlefest is, yeah. And Doc is more like old time. He's not bluegrass, but he's like one of my top. He's he's like more old time music than bluegrass, but he's like one of my top guys. Yeah. So,
I mean, I saw them play with what's her name? Is it Bryn? Bryn
Davies? Yeah, Bryn Davies. Yeah.
Wow, she smokes, man.
Yeah, she's great.
She
can do all that like slapping stuff that I never could do.
Yeah. I saw them play with her and the other gal. I forgot. Sharon, maybe?
That's Sharon right there.
Yeah. Oh, right. That's Sharon playing mandolin, right?
The thing about bluegrass is that when they want a woman player, it's to get the voice. But like rock and roll, when they want a woman bass player, it's because they want your tits to make them more money. Like that's just what it boils down to. Like it's a little bit oversimplifying, but that's what I loved about that scene. It was like
it was non-tit oriented.
Yeah, like hire me based on merit. Like I can write a big band arrangement. You know what I mean? Like don't throw me up there and tell me I'm a girl. I'm an old lady. Like I'm an old woman. I'm 40.
Let me ask you, what's going on here?
Oh shit! Yeah, so this was before I quit drinking. And
Okay, next.
so I found a shark costume. I think it was in Chapel Hill,
Uh-huh.
and I just kept. There's another picture I didn't send you, but I just like you can see this is Tony Rice, and you can see he's super pleased. Um, but I just fucked with everybody constantly in the shark. Once I got sober, I was like, I think this has to go. I think this is a memory. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's like backstage somewhere, and Tony's, he was a tired gentleman, and I was just fucking with him, but he put up with it.
I have a Tony Rice clip, and for those out there who've never heard Tony Rice, he was huge in my world and very inspiring when I came across him. And for the uninitiated, here's a Tony Rice clip.
When the wheels all go.
Sick.
90% of you hardcore guitar players out there couldn't carry Tony Rice's jockstrap.
He's the father of flat picking. He's like the guy who
Yeah,
who
right.
really perfected that. It's pretty. I'm so glad that you appreciate it, because a lot
Love
of
it.
people just don't. It's fine. Nobody has to know who he is. But wow, yeah.
But yeah, Hobo Cake says amazing accuracy in playing. Yeah, he was incredibly accurate, and yeah, he shreds. Yeah, Tony. Chris Contos, our friend, plays drums in Machine Head. I know he asked, did you ever play with Vassar Clemens?
I never did. No.
Yeah.
But I I have like a series of really embarrassing stories of meeting people, like the Bruce Springsteen story, where we ended up, somebody like sat us down together, like, I want you guys to meet, and I was like, so where are you from? Like, just I'm a jackass. Like, I have no idea how to talk to people.
Right.
So I was backstage. It was the festival Vassar Clemens was at, but Doc Watson was there, and it was Merlefest, so Doc was there, and I there's catering. Like, I had this giant plate of fried chicken. I wander into an empty room, and I'm sitting down eating, and fucking Doc Watson comes in, and as he opens the door, I see there's like a big gold star on the door. Like, I'm just hanging out in Doc's dressing room, and he's blind. So I think if I'm just real quiet, maybe he'll dip and like not know that I'm in here, because I don't want to scare him. So I sat there in absolute silence for 2 or 3 minutes, and was like, hey, like, is it cool if I eat my chicken in here?
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it works. And then, of course, like, I don't know, manager or whatever comes in. It's like, what the fuck are you doing in here? So I had to leave. But I just remembered that story, man. Like, I can't ever seem to, I seem to get myself into dumbass situations pretty often. But yeah, Vassar Clemens, best hair in the business.
Speaking of Midnight Moonlight and Rowan, he plays on the record "Old and in the Way" with Jerry Garcia, and Vassar Clemens. Vassar Clemens is on that record too. It was interesting, and this is going somewhere. This is going somewhere, and that's that. "Old and in the Way" was the largest selling Bluegrass album, and it was basically a Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead side project. And when I was doing homework for the show, I came, and this is a little bit of a Ryan Adams tie-in. I know you played on this. You played on this Willie Nelson record. And do you know that this was Willie Nelson's 55th studio record?
No, I didn't.
55. This is his 50th.
Oh.
Tell us a little bit about how you fell in with this Willie Nelson record.
Okay, how did that happen? So I guess Willie asked Ryan to produce the record. So Ryan, there was a studio called Loho Studios in the
Mhm.
East Village, and it used to be, I guess, 80s and 90s. It was in Tribeca, then it moved to the East Village. So we went in there, we recorded a song, and then Ryan and I had a fight, and he fired me. And then who was it? Chris Feinstein, I think, played bass on something. And then Ryan and I worked it out. So then a few months later, we went in again. Like, I don't even know. I know I played on some of that record, but like, I don't even. Every record cycle, we would have an argument, and he would fire me. And then, like, after a month, he would like apologize, and I'd be like, "Fuck you, no way." And then, all of a sudden, I'm finding myself back there. So I remember doing like 1 or 2 days with him, and I know we did a Grateful Dead song, maybe.
Stella Blue.
Okay, and so we get on the bus, and Ryan's like, write out the changes for that song. So everybody's talking, whatever, and I just listening to it, writing down the changes, and Willie was lovely, and I actually forgot. It was my mom's birthday day, and I forgot to get her anything. So he sang "Happy Birthday" to my mom over the phone.
Oh wow!
Willie did. Yeah.
Wow, you can't beat that.
No, you can't. And he was, he had like all these joints rolled, and I never could smoke pot. And he kept offering me, and I finally said, "Sweetie, if I smoke that, I'm gonna have to go home." And he said, "Well, maybe I can come with you." It's the best.
The connection. I thought when I looked at the record and I saw that Stella Blue was on there, which is a Dead track, I was like, who brought that to the party? And then I remembered the first time I ever saw the Grateful Dead in 1978. Willie Nelson opened up for them.
Oh. Well, there was a Ryan call. Ryan had a whole Grateful. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I figured, but it got me thinking, and I was like, wow, first time I ever saw the Dead, Willie Nelson opened up for them. Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't they get anybody good to open up? Like, what a rough set that must have been.
It was actually New Riders of the Purple Sage, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and the Dead. And
what are you saying?
Yeah, and so apparently Waylon Jennings didn't show or whatever, and it was just Willie Nelson solo after.
Wow. And that's right.
Yeah, Stephen Oswald, I think you were with me, right? We were kids. I grew up in the Bronx, and they played Giant Stadium in Jersey, and we were like 13 or 14, and we went. And it was one of those days, one of those summer. It was in September, and it was one of those hot days where it was like you're out there in the stadium with the sun beating on you, and it was like New Riders of the Purple Sage, Willie Nelson, 2 sets of the Grateful Dead, and we were just like sprawled out. It was yeah.
God, like your blood would just be boiling the whole time, and then you got adrenaline.
It's amazing what people remember. Stephen Oswald says, "Yes, no papers." I guess we didn't have rolling papers.
And was Peter with New Riders of the Purple Sage then?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Easy, man.
Yeah. I want to I'm trying to move chronologically, chronologically somewhat, and I want to ask you about this. Seems to be kind of coming in somewhere around this time, which is Puss in Boots. And could you give us some perspective on this trio?
So yes, that's right. I was playing. God, I was out with Peter Rowan and Tony, and then I was playing with Mark Olson from the Jayhawks. I was just constantly gone. And Levon, I was playing some of the Rambles with Levon. And then so this dates us because so Nora and Sasha were playing guitar. They wanted to learn how to play guitar, and they said we want to get a drummer. And I knew both of them, and so Nora, one of them sent me a MySpace message, MySpace, and
Yeah,
said, you know,
of
do you want to
course.
be in this band? And I was just busy. I was not home. I wasn't checking that shit. And then I think I saw it like months later, and I was like, yeah, sure. So then, you know, we started playing together, and then we realized very quickly, like, that somebody sort of needed to be holding it down. So I mostly was playing bass, but they made me start singing lead. And trust me, I'm the guy in the back. I want to complain about catering. I don't want to be in the pictures, you know, like in the photos. It was just really hard for me to be singing. So that's what they had me do. And Sasha's playing drums. So we basically get on stage, and we are often like, you know, it's very organic, I would say. And like half the people, they show up because they love how sloppy it is. But like some people show up, and like I saw a YouTube comment and somebody said, did Norah Jones lose a bet? Which is perfect. Like it describes us because we don't know what's the key the songs are in. Like it takes us forever during changeover. We tell dick jokes. It's like it's very like you get to see the you know, the inner workings, so to speak.
You know,
So
I
that we
follow.
start. So that was 2000. That was like 2007. So we're you know,
Right.
over the years we have like little spurts of
Yeah, you
activity.
sort of get back together, and then you sort of go your separate ways, and then you
Yeah,
sort of get. But I must say, you know, following you on Facebook, and it seems like you guys have a lot of fun doing it.
yeah. It's. I mean, there's a track that I play drums on, and I remember I think Sasha got up to pee or something, and me and Nora just started jamming, and I sat down at the drums, which I'd never played, and she said, "Well, you should play drums on this song." So the only time I ever play drums are when we play live or on the record. Like I've literally, like that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. We had a gig that night, and she said, "Well, you should play drums tonight." So every time I play, I'm like, which like I'm playing with two different sticks. Like Sasha has to tell me which stick goes on which drum. It's like fuck it.
There you
This is
go.
like all of us experiencing that like 15-year-old garage band thing that we never got to do, you know?
Yeah, everything I see you guys looks like you're having a lot of fun, and music should be fun.
Yeah.
You mentioned before that playing with Levon Helm, and and you say for the uninitiated, the Levon Helm Rambles was sort of the party that they had up in Woodstock in his barn, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So I made a record with a songwriter, and this guy had the nuts to like call Levon and Garth Hudson, the two guys from the band, play on the record, and me and Levon just fell in love, and you know, not in that kind of way, but he this was before he was having the rambles at his house,
Uh,
and so he would invite us over to, you know, he'd invite me and some other people over to play, and there's actually a unreleased thing. It's me and him and his daughter Amy at the kitchen table. It was before he had gotten his voice back, so he's singing like this,
uh-huh.
but it's beautiful stuff. But then so his voice got better, and he started to do these weekly rambles, and there would always be like Johnny Johnson would be a guest, or James Taylor, I don't know, all these different legendary artists.
Uh-huh.
And he used another bass player for a long time because I couldn't commit to like just one gig a week. And
Yeah.
then so this,
Is that my
remember
man
what,
Larry Campbell?
that's Larry. Yeah.
Yo, that dude.
Yeah. The best.
Yo, he's a great
And
Larry Campbell, great fiddle player.
guy can do anything.
Yeah.
And I actually remember now this gig, Puss in Boots opened for the Ramble. And that's Jimmy Weeder back there. He's in the last incarnation of the band. But long story short, we opened the Ramble, and they had a new bass player at that time. And the manager came to me after after the Puss in Boots gig, he said, "Yo, I fucked up. I forgot to get bass player for Levon's set. Can you play a set?" So I played this like 3-hour set. I didn't know any of the music. I mean, I'd heard it, you know.
All the band stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know how that shit went. I'd never played. There's no charts, so I just played, you know. So I was like, all I do.
He sang some of the great stuff of the band, you know. Yeah.
And the way he played, like it was just, you know, his hand was like midair, and he'd go whack, like the sound on the snare drum, and it was so laid back that it was.
Yeah.
I spent most of the set worried about like getting the groove right, and somebody, you know, just guessing the changes. But at the end of the gig, he pulls me into the kitchen and he said, "Use MVP tonight," and he hands me $1,500 extra on top of
wow.
And I was like, I couldn't possibly take that, but thank you. Like he was
MVP.
He was good. The MVP, yeah. So I did a couple of rambles after that.
Yeah, that was you know, him and Rick Danko, you know. Rick Danko had that voice, man. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Rick play?
I saw Rick play later on when Rick was like struggling, and it was you know, I saw him at the Lone Star Cafe in New York City, you know, when he was just sort of doing like beer and cigarette, you know, gigs for beer and cigarette money, and you know, sort of the magic was gone. He still had that beautiful voice, you know. And the sun don't shine anymore. Yeah, it was. Oof. Yeah, but you know, I did see him, but it was a little later on in the game, you know, not you know, not in the sort of the glory years.
You know, that's the thing. There's always something, no matter how old you are. There's always something you came in on the tail end of.
Oh, of course.
Know, and I just love it when people are like, New York City is over. And you know, when my dad moved to New York in the late 30s, in the 1950s, people were like, New York City's over.
Right.
You know, it's just so interesting how it's difficult.
We've talked about it many times on the show, that music is cyclical in nature, and the wave goes in and the wave goes out. And, you know, the tail end of something is the beginning of something else, you know, and, you know, you just have to be open to it. And, you know,
and to get creative, how are the show? Like, this is such a creative way to express yourself, and to you know, music isn't just about playing music. It's about living it and talking about it too. Absolutely. So good for you.
Hey, we're gonna take a break, but you know what? Before we take this break, let's talk about one more music project, and that would be Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. I love this photo, by the way. It's a great shot. That's a good one.
Look at those kids.
And I know this. You know, could you give us a little perspective on your stint with Grace?
Oh, so Grace reached out to me, and this band is sort of like, I think that, you know, the disparaging moniker was Blue-Eyed Soul, but Grace, like, she was like Tina Turner. She was all over stage. She played a, you know, an organ. She played it in heels. She headbanged. She's one of the most like I have never heard anybody say any shit as disgusting as Grace Potter said to me. Those kids, like, they all grew up together. They knew each other. They were nasty. The bus was nasty. I can't even go. They were hilarious. And you know, Grace, you know, she was having a good time wearing these little outfits. So I spent some time wearing these little outfits too, because I thought, well, you know, basically every picture you see of me and Grace, like, basically our skirts are so short that our dicks are totally hanging out. It's every single
one. I think I have one, because that would be this photo, right?
Oh yeah, see, that's a Sunday going to meeting dress compared to some of the shit we wore. Look at that. We had so much fun, and it was, you know, again, like being a jazz musician, like in my 20s, I wouldn't even put on makeup. I was like, I don't want to draw attention to myself as a woman.
Right.
And it was weird at the time. It was like I felt like if I sexualized myself at all, it gave people ammunition against me. So this was and the band was great, so good live, and like, yeah. So we got to dress up like whores. I wore heels. I don't even know what all.
We got to dress up like whores. It was great.
We got to dress.
Woo! All right. I never got, awesome outfit. You see? There you go.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We had, we just.
That's a good one. Chris Contos asks, did you ever play with Dr. John?
Hilariously enough, I did. I played, God, it was 1,000 years ago. And I played in the string section on a Dr. John record.
Nice.
And I have a habit of like I was doing, I do movie soundtrack stuff too. And I was doing these movie soundtracks. We were coming in, they were filming for a TV show, and we were having so much fun. And Mom said, what TV show is it? And it's like, I don't know. I was too embarrassed to ask. It was for vinyl, but it got too weird to ask. So we made this record. We had such a good time playing strings on it. So, and the strings just recorded at the end. And I never asked what record it was. So I don't know what record it was.
But I did play with them. I'm very, what? It reminds me, I know we're skipping around, but it reminds me of the story you told me about Fall Out Boy, how you played on the Fall Out. Just before we go into the break, tell us about this funny ass Fall Out Boy, how you played on the track. And then one day you were like, huh?
Yeah. So somebody called me and said, hey, can you come over to my home studio? Just bang out like, a bass part over 4 chords. Yeah, sure. And I was there for, an hour tops, and it was 4 chords, 8th note, just do 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 do, and they give me 300. I was like, sucker. And then I was at a nightclub somewhere overseas a few years later, and I said there was something bumping. I was like, hey, that's me playing bass, and they were like, it's Fall Out Boy. So I reached out to him. I was like, is that me? He said, yeah, man, what's his name? Like, he just couldn't play bass. So we had you do it. It's like, anybody could have played that, but whatever. So that's how I learned about what Fall Out Boy was.
Has that happened often with you as a session musician, sort of like, hey, show up and kind of do it and not have a lot of interaction with the artist whose album it is, and then sort of like it's a day's work, and then maybe sometime later you're like, hey, wait a second, I think I played on that.
It doesn't happen. That was like, it doesn't happen that often. I mean, sometimes I'm just having a good time and I forget. There was a Jack White record that I played on, and we went, he has a studio in his backyard, and it was really fun. We made this record, and we recorded stuff, and I didn't know that it was going to be a record. So like a year and a half later, someone said, you sound great on that Jack record. And I said, I didn't play on a Jack record, and you're just on cover. So
this is coming through from one of our beloved friends and supporters, Hoya from Madball. He says, James Jamerson is king. She ever meet Babbitt? No.
I never met. No, there's tons of those guys that I never met, but so it is amazing. Like on Instagram now that I can't remember Bob, the GLAUB, like one of those dudes who just played with everybody in the 70s, and he follows me on Instagram, and I have all these, it's basically just a bunch of shit posts. You see my Instagram, and it's like Bob Glob is liking my shit posts on Instagram. But we've never met. So no, I wish that I would. And my friend, I don't know why they cut off your pic.
Yeah, I don't know what you did,
sorry.
Hoya. But hey, Hoya, I want to say that I know it's the anniversary of your brother's passing, and my heart goes out to you, Hoya. I love you, man, and all the best to you and your family, man. And I'm coming down to Florida in a couple of weeks. Hopefully I'll see you. Let me take a sponsor break here, and let's come back and let's do together with Gina and Lori Dawn. Let's do the Women of the Pit Spotlight. They have a really cool band, and we'll see you in a couple minutes, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. This is the one, the only, often imitated, never duplicated. Clank your chains and count your change. Get your shoes and socks on, kids. It's right around the corner. The New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. And we are sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records, 126 Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, DeWolf Publishing, and the Texas Silver Rush. It's a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. They specialize in working with all musicians in music genres to design and create unique one-off pieces, as well as style them for stage, album covers, promo photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, the mighty Agnostic Front. Information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram pages, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Next. 126 Hardcore Clothing is a streetwear brand for restless individuals who don't compromise. They're about being positive, spontaneous, and true to yourself, my friends. For years, they experimented with several printing methods and materials and collaborated with a large number of designers and illustrators, always giving room for fresh perspectives while retaining the hardcore attitude. Get in touch with them, ramp up your game at www.126clothing.com. Last but not least, Generation Records. Since 1992, Generation Records has been a mainstay of the New York metropolitan area music scene. Today, they offer a diverse selection of new and used rock, jazz, indie, hip-hop, punk, hardcore, metal, blues, soundtrack, and reggae LPs, as well as T-shirts, posters, and other merchandise. They buy used record collections and music memorabilia and will pay you top dollar for them. House calls made for large collections in the tri-state area. Call or email generationrecords@gmail.com. Follow them on Facebook and on Instagram. Want to mention a couple of things real quick. Hey, speaking of Hoya, I got to mention this. Madball, Death Before Dishonor, Incendiary Device, Cropsy, and a couple others are playing upstate on August 12th. Not sure if you're coming up for this, Hoya, if you're going to be a part of this, but it's going down August 12th at Empire Underground. That's Mike Valente's place. Hopefully we will see you there. Just want to give you a heads up on that. Also, I announced this show the other day. Where is coming up? This one got a big response. People excited about this one. Wednesday, September 14th, the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Mr. Don Fury will be on the show. Don Fury, legend. What can I say? Produce Agnostic Front, Judge, Youth of Today, Quicksand, Gorilla Biscuits, Underdog. Incredibly proficient career. Legend. So Don Fury coming up September 14th. Also, and I'll mention this later. Actually, you know what? There is no later. The only time is now. Women of the Pit, in conjunction with the New York Hardcore Chronicles. The Run Amok Fest on Sunday, August 14th, with the bands RBNX, United Blood NYC, featuring Sid the Kid, Necrotic Society, Damn Your Eyes, The Car Bomb Parade, Enrage, and Leeway NYC. If it's free, it's for me. All ages. Bring your wife and that booger-eating kid of yours. One last heads up. I know Dave Scott from Adrenaline OD was watching before, and this, of course, ties in with DeWolf Publishing, this month's sponsor. On Friday, November 4th at the Bowery Electric in New York City, Adrenaline OD is playing their first show in many years. It is a book signing and a live performance. We, Incendiary Device, and Fear Gods are the support acts. Get your act together. Come on down. Tickets are on sale now. The last time they played the Bowery Electric, it did sell out. So this one is not all ages, and this one is not free, you friggin' bum. You're going to have to buy a ticket for this one. All right? Everything can't be free. Once in a while, take off your yarmulke, take out your wallet, and buy a friggin' ticket. All right? And this is one of those times. Don't get me crazy here. That said, you know what? Let me shout out DeWolf Publishing while we're at it. DeWolf Publishing. Hold on. Hold your horses. DeWolf Publishing is a completely independent publishing house formed by authors Amy Yates Wolfing and Stephen D. Lodovico in Philadelphia in 2014. To date, they have released 5 books with widely ranging topics, including graffiti culture, American ska and reggae, punk zine culture, and the soon-to-be published memoir of Adrenaline OD. Their mission is to preserve and curate subculture and its history. Get your face out of that phone and into a book. www.dewolf.com. Last but not least, might as well get it out of the way. DTFM Vinyl Distro is a record store that specializes in underground music, punk, ska, hardcore, metal, and more, located in the heart of Fargo, North Dakota's industrial district. Shop in person or online at www.dtfmvinyldistro.com, where the motto is death to false metal. That said, is everybody behaving themselves? Hopefully I can make Sunday. You better get your ass down there Sunday. Rich Zoller, you always support. Yes. Steve is a great guy. Spike Polite, drag your ass and bring your woman too, man. All right. Man, I would love to see that AOD show. Listen, Chris Contos, it's been around for a while. It's called an airplane, bro. People get in it. It goes into the air. It travels large distances and lands, and then you can come to the show. There you go. Free for you. Yes, come run amok with us. That said, speaking of running amok, let me clear the deck. Let's bring our guests back on. Let's bring our women of the pit on. Hold on. There you go. Let's bring on Miss Catherine Popper.
Oh,
Sorry.
you're funny. I've been digging. You're funny. You're making me laugh.
Hey, at this point, 200 shows into it, I better be funny, right?
Well,
I will. You know,
people
listen,
people make money at shit that they're not good at all the time. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, I love doing it, and I'm very fortunate and very, very fortunate that there's a great fan base around the world that loves the show. So I'm really appreciative for that. So that said, let's bring on a couple of our friends. It's time for the Women of the Pit Spotlight. Gina and
Hello.
Come on now. What's going on?
Hey.
How you doing? Enjoying the show so far.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Wow, I've never had so many gals on the show at once.
I know, it's a takeover.
Totally outnumbered.
Hostile takeover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You better watch out. We're gonna sync your moon cycle to ours.
We can do that, you know.
That's right. It's possible.
Let's talk about this new spotlight and that we're doing. And Kat, I'm glad you're here to witness this. But what are we?
What are we doing today? Where are we going?
Well, should I put a photo up of this band? Yeah, let's do a photo.
Okay.
Let's do a photo of this band. And I like this one because they're absolutely crushing it in this photo. And tell us about it. And then I have a clip. We can play a clip. So who is this and what's going on?
Okay, so today on our Worldwide Wednesdays, we are traveling to Ukraine with the band Death Pill, which is a power trio, kind of like Puss in Boots, except a little bit angrier.
Yeah, they've been described as Slayer fronted by Kathleen Hanna. That's their style.
wow.
Like if Slayer was fronted, so they go pretty hard. They were three professional women, also musicians, and they got together a few years back. The guitarist reached out to the drummer, Anastasia, and wanted to start the band. And I think she was like nervous about starting it because she was like married. She had a child and a career. You know, she's a director and I think she was filming commercials and stuff. And I think she was hesitant about reaching out, but ultimately they got together and started writing, and they've done some pretty cool stuff.
And they are Ukraine based.
Yes, they're based out of Kiev.
Yeah.
Although right now they are not living there. They have kind of left the country because of the invasion. But when they first started, there wasn't that, they didn't know of any other fully female hardcore bands. So they're kind of pioneers. They said since then a lot more have cropped up. They, like Gina said, they've been around, they started in 2017 and they put out an EP, which was, I think, mostly straightforward hardcore to my ear. But their later singles, they mix in some melodic hooks to it. So they're really advancing, I think, as musicians.
You know, I couldn't, like, this band, they look hard.
Yeah.
It made me sort of reflect on sort of like the band that I'm in, and like made me sort of think to myself, like, yo, my band's we're soft. Like my band comes, look, like I'm like wearing a Jerry Garcia band shirt, you know?
How,
and like,
how do you think I feel? Why am I even still here? Look at
this crew of Ukraine girls like makes my band look soft as a baby's ass, you know? So, but I have a clip. Let me see. We have a clip.
Oh yeah, play it.
Let me find, where is that clip? Is
While you're looking for it, they started out, they said they just wanted to kind of like prove themselves to the guys, right? They just wanted to show like they could go hard too. And now they're just like they're just like, they know they're cool. They don't have to prove anything to any of these guys.
Want to shout out Stelios. What's up in Athens, Greece, man?
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
My kind of town, Athens. Let me see this clip. Here we go.
Что тебе от меня надо? Для чего эта бравада? Я тебя предупреждала, расцарапаю ебало. Говорила, буду драться, в ритме шрамов 220. Почему тебе все мало? Расцарапаю ебало, кровь. Ебало, кровь. Ебало, кровь. Расцарапаю ебало, кровь.
Yeah, I might have to rethink this thing, man. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
hard.
they did say for the past how many years they've been playing hardcore, and they are branching out. You know, they have all different musical influences. They love hardcore, and their favorite is like that old school dirty hardcore, where they say old school dirty aggressive hardcore. Like that's their favorite. But as they write new music, they are branching out a little bit.
Everyone's like,
little
yes,
klezmer, little
hard.
klezmer. Yeah, hard.
That clip that you played is from their latest song, Rasarapayu Ibalo, and it means tear your face. And they've dedicated that to the defenders of their country. And that appears actually on a compilation album to benefit Ukraine called Band Together. And they're giving the proceeds to an organization called Razom, which means together in Ukrainian.
California says, don't know what she's singing, but it's hard and sounded dope as fuck.
Tear your face. Scratch your face.
Yeah. Hey, are you guys excited? We have a show coming up, right?
Very excited, yes.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, we're doing Run
Run
Amok
Amok.
Fest. Run Amok Fest. All right,
Where
good.
is that? Where is Run Amok Fest?
At Jesse's place at Bowery. We do. You know how there's the map room upstairs and and downstairs. We do. It's hold on. Let me get the flyer. Hold on.
There you go.
Funny you should ask. Thank you.
There's upstairs, downstairs, outside,
Yeah.
inside.
So what we're doing is we've because these shows we've created something really cool. They're free, and they're all ages. And I get sponsors and bands want to play. A lot of people come down, and it really harkens back to the old CBGB's Sunday matinees. So everybody's hanging out in front, and I gotta say, our patron saint Jesse Malin is a big part of it. Jesse's a big, even though I get the call every now and then, Drew, it's my partners, this and that, and I don't know if that I do like a blockbuster every third show. So then I just wait till the next one, Jesse. But it's we do like something like this. We do upstairs and downstairs. Like we stagger the bands on the stages. We do a couple bands upstairs and a couple bands downstairs, and we go back and forth with it. And this one is co-sponsored by Women of the Pit, and
when we do a show, we always like to incorporate, bands that have women in them. So we like to make sure that, they're spotlighted on our shows. Yeah.
Yeah, and Paulie Porkchop says, yes, shows where everyone is on the guest list.
Yeah.
That's right. Basically,
Exactly.
when we throw a party, everybody's on the guest list.
And sometimes it's cake.
Yeah, and something. Yeah, people are still talking about my birthday cake. That was really great. So I want to thank you guys, Lori, Dawn, and Gina. You're just for you guys coming on every Wednesday now, and we'll do it up. And every band doesn't have to just be all women. You could
Oh, are you feeling left out?
Last week's wasn't. They're not.
All right. I'll see you guys
Sunday.
Sunday.
See you Sunday.
All right. I'll see you out on the ball field on Sunday.
So good to meet you guys.
Very
Thank
nice.
you.
Pat,
See you
Pat,
around.
if you're around, come by. That'd be cool.
On Sunday?
No, yeah.
Well, this Sunday, August
We're
14th.
for our Run Amok
Sunday.
Fest.
Well, I'll get the info from my head is swimming, but
Yeah.
I need to be going out more. I finally got COVID, so I can go places now.
Yes, you can go places and come with us. We'll protect your nose.
Yeah.
We're like,
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
What a great vibe they have.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that all sprung out of this show, by the way. Like they like the show started, back, whenever it started, and they were in the chat room, and they just they started, this thing started bubbling up, and they created Women of the Pit, and now I'm just a sideshow.
So it's like they're like the Better Call Saul. Of
Yeah.
And you're the Breaking Bad.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. You know what I wanted? Where's that other clip? I wanted to talk about. Let me find that clip. Hold on. And I'm gonna have to skip through. To find it. But where is that clip? Oh, here it is. Okay, I want to ask you about this.
The first time I came into AC.
Whoop. There you go.
There's really nothing else to say.
So why must I go on its way? And why must I live on its way? No, not I and I would
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, that's me, right? Yeah, that was I was like, who filmed that? And you were like,
I did.
I did. I put it together. So anyway, sorry. I didn't know Todd terribly well. We had done Jesse puts these Joe Strummer Foundation benefits together, and
Yep.
I did one with Todd. So we worked together once, but so Jesse, asked me if I would play. A lot of this stuff, it's about like, the camaraderie, who you want around, and like, Jesse I said, I feel uncomfortable because I didn't know Todd. But
Oh, stop it.
no, I just, I said, are you sure there's nobody else? Because of course I would love to do it. And it was badass. Like, check it out.
Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. And it was perfect. You and HR and Doc. I mean, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just so like, there's some people who are just so easy to play with,
Yeah. Larry Kelly's asking, who's the drummer? Well, the drummer happens to be the great Randy Schrager, right?
That's him, the dumbass. Randall, if you're listening, you're a dumbass.
Isn't he's out with the keyboard player. He's out with what's his name? Butch Trucks' nephew, Derek Trucks.
No,
And-
he's out with his guy's name. The guy Gabe
Yeah.
Dixon.
Yeah, they're the opening act on the Derek Trucks tour for the summer.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Randy's out all summer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that dude. We've done a lot of different things together over the years.
But
And
you guys played a lot of shows together,
We did, and the only reason that I stopped playing with Jesse is just because I got burned out from touring. Like, Jesse it's like I just love him. I love his music. I love that band.
You guys were really, really great.
Yeah.
I mean, you were after. I didn't see the very beginning, but after you were playing for a while, you guys were really, really good. And I had the opportunity in one of those Joe Strummer things, a couple of them actually.
That's right.
I did a couple of them. Here's I don't know if this is New York, but yeah, it was really great to get up there and bark at the moon. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's so much like the cast of characters that would come through. It was so much fun, and getting to learn those lines is such an education,
Yeah.
But you can see me like, look, it's like these rock guys, and I'm just this like I'm a thinking bass player, so I'm like one of my favorite bass players.
We're playing Clash songs. Come on,
right? But my favorite bass player used to say, "Your job is to get your drum lead." So I always think about that. I'm like, how am I going to make everybody else sound good on stage? And then in all my pictures, Jesse's like, you never look like you're having fun. I'm not like the jump around stage guy,
No.
So this is like, look at me.
No, I'm surprised you're even I'm surprised you're even standing, because I remember when I first came to do the rehearsal, and you wouldn't even get up.
Jesse. The first time a few times.
He's oh God, who's this next fucking friend?
No, I'm just tired. This body is made for sitting down, and so Jesse was like, "Are you sitting? Is that like okay that she's sitting?" And I was like, "This is how it's got to be, man. I'm just made for it. If I'm not laying down, I'm sitting down." So
yeah, there you go. Here's another one of you and Jesse. I mean, you were with Jesse for a minute there, played on a couple of records, right?
Yeah. I think for still, he's just such a pal, and we're very close friends, and so he'll just have me drop in and do like a vocal track, play bass. I just played upright bass on something with him. I don't know what it was for. I don't know.
What did I just see? What last time I saw him play, you came out and sang a song. Just sang.
That's right.
What was that? It was at Poussin Rouge, right? What was that?
That's right. He asked me to sing.
Was it a benefit for something? I don't remember what that was.
I don't think that was a benefit. I think it was a regular. I'm so bad. I don't remember much, but yeah, that was. He asked me to sing lead on one of his songs. It was so much fun. I mean, I'm like,
Cool.
me? Just some fucking nerd, you know? So it's really fun.
Let's poke around a little bit, and tell us about what's going on here. Because yeah,
Well, that is when a man and a woman love each other very much. Drew. So Puss in Boots. So Neil Young has these. He and his wife Peggy put on a benefit every year called the Bridge School benefit, and the Bridge
That's
School
right.
is for, like, people with learning disabilities, emotional challenge.
they have a son that has like that's how the whole thing started.
Right. So Ben, son,
Like 300 years ago.
Yeah, I think he might have cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair, so it's like a bunch of the kids are all backstage and they're in wheelchairs, and they're just checking out the show. And so Neil, me and Nora and Sasha, they have like the year we did it twice, so it's like you play acoustically, so it's like us, Guns N' Roses acoustic, like it's just which that's a whole
Cool.
other story.
I love those things.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. So the Bridge School benefit, that's right, Chris. And so me and Nora and Sasha in the trailer were like dirty dancing and fucking around, and Neil comes in and he's like, "Hey, can I sit in with you girls?" And you're like, "Yeah, man, that'd be awesome." So we do a cover of Down by the River. So he came and he sat in with us, and every time we did a Bridge School benefit, or he was around, he would come sit in with us. And you just think like somebody gets playing the solo on Down by the River, which is, what is it, E minor and A7, but he's every time he's like, "Yo, do you think I can sit in?" So and this is
is this the same one or the same year? Looks a little different.
that was the year it was Pearl Jam, and
right.
what's that guy's name? Chris Cornell.
Right, Chris Cornell.
Soundgarden, and
right.
And that's right, I played it with Jack White one year, but he's not.
Right.
No, because I was playing with him.
Yeah.
Oh
wow. Hoboken, Chris Cornell's birthday today.
Oh shit.
Wow.
He was such a nice, like, shy dude, and he was really, they have, how at the end of shows they have like big sing along, which is always a nightmare.
Sure.
Because everybody has to stick around late and be sober enough to do it. And so he's in the back, and everybody's pushing past him to go on stage. And I was like, dude, I just very briefly chatted with him, but I took him by the arm and I pushed him up to the front of the mic. And in all the pictures, he's like a cigar store Indian. He's just standing there.
Yeah.
He looks so uncomfortable, but he would have never gone up there.
Interesting the dichotomy. People like him and what's his name from who also sadly passed away. You think that people are just are living the time of their lives with a family and kids, and they have just they have a lot, this incredible career, and I'm not putting this on them, but I know in a certain regard, because you and I have talked about this, that sadly drugs and alcohol play into a lot of these things, sadly. Kurt Cobain and things like that, and people react in the moment and do something in the moment, and there's never, you can't come back from it. Very sad, It's
like a there but for the grace of God go,
right.
go we, because it's totally true. Like, I didn't stop drinking because I'm smart or because I care more. I got lucky that it just worked, and I think about this stuff all the time. Like, and during the pandemic, like, it just took, people, it's been hard to watch the drug and alcohol use go up, and it makes sense why, so I'm so glad that, I'm lucky is all.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm very happy. And hey, listen, everybody live their life. God bless, but for me, it wasn't working anymore. Is that right? What's going on? Chester Bennington, Lincoln Park, committed 5 years ago today. Same thing.
What?
Hey, Little Freeman, you coming down to the show on speaking of I'm not speaking of alcohol. Little Freeman, if you're coming to the show on Sunday, I want you to drink because see, this is a cat. This is sort of the line that I walk with this doing these free shows, right? Check it out. It goes like this. I want you to come to the show and I want you to drink because I need everybody to drink so the bar makes money and we can do more shows. But don't drink too much. But you know,
Don't spit in my fucking face at the end of the night.
Don't drink to the point where you're a problem. See, that's the thing about doing these shows. Then I get, you know, I don't want to mention anybody, the manager or whoever from the club going, you know, this person was a problem and that person was a problem. But I'm like, well, yeah, fuck. I'm on stage going, fucking drink. It's the only way we can do these. It's the only way we can do these free shows is if people drink. And now you're gonna come to me and tell me somebody drank too much.
It's so funny. I totally get it. And people, you know, I didn't want to out you as being sober or whatever, but like people are so weird.
We talk about it on the show. It's all right. The world knows that I'm sober. So.
I figured, but I just want to be sure.
Yeah. So
that's crazy though. This thing about that Chester,
it is right
that he committed suicide. Like there's a funny picture I have in my phone. I'm such a damned fangirl. Like Dave Vanian,
right?
you know.
Is
oh
that
my
right?
God, that I have like strawberries on vinyl, the whole thing. So when I'm playing with Jesse,
you know they're playing in New York with Blondie.
Oh, they are? Well, that's
you know that
fun, Bill.
Yeah, it is. You know that that down by the seaport, that venue that's like outdoors on the roof. You hear anything about that place?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, because my gal just went there and saw X and Psychedelic Furs.
I heard about that. It looked great. The stage looked great.
Yeah.
But I had the reason I brought it up is I had a picture. We played a festival in London, and you know I'm such a like Dave Vanian, like 13-year-old me, like, and somebody's like, go talk to him. I was like, the fuck? I'm gonna go talk to Dave Vanian. What am I gonna say to Dave Vanian? And my friend pushed me. It's Joe from the Boss Tones, the drummer from the Boss Tones.
Joe Gittleman. Joe Gittleman. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't even know his last name. He's like a nickname.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I have this picture of me, and I'm going like this. And Dave Vanian's here, Rat Scabies is here, and I almost sent you that. And as I was looking at it, we're watching that new show, The Boys, and Neat came on. The minute I touched my finger to the picture, and I was like, you know what? That's just wild. Like, I love it when shit like that happens. I don't love it when I'm hearing, that this is like the anniversary of a bunch of bad shit that happened, but it's funny. It's funny stuff. That's it. That's it.
Did you watch the 3rd season of The Boys?
No, just me and my mom are watching. It's like kind of a heavy thing to watch with your mom.
It kind of is. I've watched it all. I watched the 3rd season. Are you? Where are you?
No, we're like episode 3 or 4 in the 1st season. So
when it gets to the 3rd season, you don't want to watch it with your mom. There's superhero orgies in the 3rd season, and it's like it is so out there. They went there.
There's one, the last episode is like this, this girl's just like, eat my ass, and she's sitting on this guy's face, and I looked at my mom, and she's just so, it seems cool so far, but I appreciate the heads up.
By the way, I couldn't help but notice that this photo was taken by Jay Blakesberg, who is
it's a great dude.
Yeah. He is the preeminent Grateful Dead photographer, and for a long time now.
Yeah, I'm super Dead adjacent, but I've never really been a dead person. So like it's like I know all these people that are involved, and it's just so funny. I learned that because he was always the guy taking pictures of the great shows and that, and takes great pictures, and it's like he's the
he's that guy that like started as a young teenager going to Dead shows and shooting the band and that whole bit. I want to ask you about what's going on here. Boom.
Oh, That would be me not ever really knowing how to take a bow because I'm tall. Period. No, I mean, I toured with Jack White for one tour. As you can see, he had an all-girl band, which again was like not my thing, and I didn't want to do it because of that. And it's funny, I actually, the first time they called, they said the whole everybody, the management, they're all lovely. Some of the women in the band are crazy, but like.
By the way, Stan Curtis says, "Saw that band, you rocked it."
Oh, thanks, man.
And
They called it and they said,
Is that Carla Azar?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Hobo Cake says Carla Azar, great drummer.
Yeah, she's
I'm
a
sorry.
great drummer. No, it's okay. It's not really all that, but I don't think I expected to do this gig because they were like, can you fly down tomorrow and audition? And I was like, dude, I'm a grown ass man. Like, I don't really need to audition. You know what I mean? And I had a gig and I was like, you know what? I can't bail on this gig that I have. So I didn't go. And then they did it again the next week. And they said, can you come down tomorrow again and audition? I was, if you give me some advance warning, we could talk about that. And so they said, okay, forget it. And the next week they called and they're like, look, do you want the gig? So
that's a good way of getting around the audition.
Yeah, it was just kind of last minute, whatever. But like Jack is, super, super cool, easy, really interesting guy. Like people have opinions about him, and I'm telling you, that guy is just super nice. Like, whenever there's little kids around, he's like dad joke guy. I thought he was.
He always seems to me, first and foremost, is just a real music lover. A guy who just really has an incredible passion, for the genre and for the roots.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And I was still I think I was probably wearing high heels at that point. And look at my hair extensions. Look at all that shit, man. I like fly as hell in that picture.
And what was this project? What was this project called? The Peacocks?
Yes, the Peacocks. So he toured with two different bands. He toured with an all-female band and just like a dude band. And he said the only reason, because I asked him, was like, why? Like, why? Because in general, I'm not a big fan of like all-female projects, because I always feel like, look, if you want to hire me because I'm a woman to make you look good, then you should pay me more. And so
that makes sense.
When I asked him about it, he said, I just wanted to make a way to really establish that it was one band one day and another band the next day. And that's just the best way that he could think to do it.
All right. That makes sense.
I mean, I guess. I don't know. But it was like you could tell he had thought about it, which helped.
Is there, I mean, I don't want to get in front of it because we're going to take some questions. Well, no, I don't even want to ask any questions. We'll get that. One more.
Is anybody still here? You can tell me. Is anybody still watching? You can
oh
tell
yeah,
me.
Of course.
Just kidding.
Yeah. This is a cool shot.
Oh yeah.
That's Sylvain on the right.
Yep.
And that's Danny Ray, the sax player. And that's the dude from the Nuns on the left, right?
Yeah, Alejandro.
Yeah.
So, I met a lot of great, playing with Jesse sort of opened me up to a bunch of new people. And even though I was playing with Jesse mainly, I did some dates with Alejandro Escovedo. And that picture, I love it, but like it does look like he's touching my breast. So I sent you that. I was like, I put it up on Instagram once, and I just got fucking nailed across the board. So, but it's a nice picture. And Sylvain played on one of the gigs.
He looks good. Sylvain looks good there.
He was such a good dude. We had so much fun on stage. It was like detuning his guitar. It was, this is such a nice crew of people, Yeah. Oh, and you guys are so sweet. I'm just kidding. I was like, I still feel like a nerd. I'm like, why did you have me? Like, you want to talk about like melodic minor scales, Drew? What the fuck?
No, I want to talk about I want to talk a little about bluegrass, and I need a fucking break. You know what? Now that you mention it, when I do a show, I do homework, right? So I'll listen to the band on Spotify, and then like on Spotify, when sort of that it ends, they start like making suggestions and like playing like music that is I don't know what the algorithm is, or music that sounds familiar, or there's some connection, or I don't know, how they come up with it, right? So usually I do a hardcore show, and then before I know it, I'm listening to like 10 other bands that are like rah, 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 right? And so I listen the same thing, like when I go out at night and I do a couple miles exercise. I listen to your stuff, and no disrespect, but there's not a lot of cat popper stuff on Spotify.
No.
There's like the two songs, right? There's the single and the other one, and so right after that, I'm starting getting suggestions, right? And could you believe it? They started playing these songs that were like cat popper-esque, right? And
That's great.
And I'm like, and it was a whole nother world. It was like, I was like, who's this? And it was like all these bands I never heard of, right? Like I couldn't even I mean, not even peripherally I've heard of, you know what I mean? Like usually it's like, okay, I sort of know that name, like, the Fabulous Vomits or whatever. Oh yeah, I've seen that before. But so, and I kept going, wow, this sounds great. What's this? It was really kind of great.
That's cool. And again, it's not that I think that you're like, only punk rock guy. It's just I always wanted to be cooler and be able to, like punk and reggae actually are like two musics that I just could never totally get my head in. But I am curious because I have one solo song on Spot, and then I did a Pear Ubu cover. So I'm curious.
Yeah, those
I'm a permanent private in the Army. You know what I mean? Like I get hired to play. So I'm just curious. I want to go see who is cat popper-esque so I can know what my style is.
I was like, wow, this. I really like this. What is this?
That's
like
awesome.
it happened a bunch of times, because I swear to God, usually it's like, you stabbed me in the back. I trusted you. And then I'm like, and then here comes another one, and I'm like, hey. Tell us about what's going on here.
Oh yeah. Well, you can see that's me. You recognize me because my mouth is open. That's me playing with Tommy and the Bash and Pop record. Like I'm such a fucking huge Replacements fan, and so when I first met Tommy, I was like, you know what I mean? And even sometimes now, like we're really good friends, and I'll just turn around and go, he's like, Jesus Christ, stop it. Like, I can't believe it sometimes. Like, oh my God,
he's an interesting artist, Tommy Stinson. He's really gone from the Replacements to Guns N' Roses to everything in between,
the Bash and Pop records are, know how like after the Stones, Keith Richards had those solo records, like
I love
Take
that
It,
fucking come
Take
on
It
now.
So Hard. The Bash and Pop reminds me of like what the continuation of the Replacements.
Main Offender. That record.
Main Offender.
Richard, I love that record. I love those first two Keith Richards solo albums better than any Stones album since Some Girls.
Totally. And I felt like, if anybody's interested, that the Bash and Pop records, Tommy, he's so talented. He's just crazy. Yeah, he's crazy talented.
Yeah. A quick Keith Richards story. I live in the Upper West Side. The Beacon Theater is right by me. I went and saw Keith Richards and what do they call, the Expensive Winos. They played the Beacon Theater, and I was very close. I was like maybe 6th or 7th or 8th row, and he's playing, and it's a great show. And he flicks his pick out into the audience. Now, and it was a couple of rows, a couple of rows in front. Everybody dove for it and this and that. And it was, it was like when you throw like meat into the sharks, everyone's like, ah. And I'm like standing there and I'm thinking like, I sort of did the math in my head. Like, well, if he threw it and it hit the floor and it bounced, because they didn't seem to be able to find it. I looked down under the chair in front of me and the pick is sitting right there. And
come on.
And I pick it up. I have it to this day. It said Keith Richards' Main Offender on it. I have that guitar pick to this day.
That's great. I fucking love that. Some of the shit at the Beacon. I saw that David Bowie Heathen concert or whatever the thing was in the early 2000s. And I was sitting right behind Joe Strummer. And
come on now.
I was like, he was right in front of me. And I was like too shy to talk to him. I was with my boyfriend. And so I leaned up and I just bit the corner of his bike jacket. I put my teeth marks in it. I went like this. I went. And my boyfriend goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" I was like, "I don't know, man. I panicked. Like I had to do something." So, yeah.
Yeah. Keith, Joe Strummer. That's a big one, man. Let me take my last sponsor break, and let's come back and let's take some questions from around the world. Okay. Yeah,
time to pee. There's no women on this show. There's no fucking pee breaks. Do I have a time to pee?
Yeah, go. It'll be a couple minutes. I'll bullshit you. I mean, can you pee in 5 minutes?
I can manage.
All right, and go. All right. This is your chance, everybody. Go take a pee break. Post your questions, and this is. What happened? Oh, I did all the sponsor stuff. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. Having a good time today with our friend Cat Popper. Doing something a little bit different. Take my hand. We can do it. We can do it together. Every show doesn't have to be, you stabbed me in the back. I trusted you. You're phony. You're fake. The song's about getting stabbed in the back. Phony and fake motherfuckers. Whoa. All right. This is the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, The Texas Silver Rush, DTFM Vinyl Distro, Generation Records 126, Hardcore Clothing, Grunge and Grime Soap Company, and to Wolf Publishing. We had our Women of the Pit Spotlight today with Lori, Dawn, and Gina. I want to mention to you, do you know that Sunday, November 13th, at our beloved Bowery Electric is, backed by popular demand, it is Rampage Fest. This happens to be Rampage Fest 4. Upstairs and downstairs, we're sorting it out now. Rampage Fest 4, Sunday, November 13th, all free at the Bowery Electric. Also, as if you didn't know, on Sunday, October 16th, another show at the Bowery Electric. This is the October show. Yes, it is no redeeming social value. The Take, Incendiary Device. It's going to jump off tonight. Live Fast, Die Fast, and Slashers with the one, the only Sid the Kid. And then just one last mention. The September show at the Bowery Electric is on hallowed September 11th with old school Philly legends Why Die, Crazy Eddie, Murderers Row, Orlando Furioso, and Winter Wolf. Mixing it up a little bit. DJ The Governor, Frankie Too Far. So come on, get your ass down there. It's free. It's free, you friggin' bum. I think, you know what I didn't mention on this show? How about this? I'm so caught up in this show. Come on now. If you're not supporting the show, please join Patreon and support the show. That's what makes this whole thing tick. Don't be a Hatreon, join Patreon. Lots of cool stuff on there. Don't be shy. Also, if you're watching the show in rerun, there is a subscribe button there. Please subscribe to the show so you get alerts when the show is happening. There's a merch line. There's some merch stuff. Perhaps you want the New York Hardcore Chronicles mug or the New York Hardcore shower curtain or the pillow to prop your loved one's tushy up on when you're committing that act. What else? Instagram. I got to mention Instagram. If you have a communication device, follow me on Instagram. Follow the show on Instagram at Stone Films NYC. All right, follow me. I'll follow you back. How's that for a deal? That said, I want to shout out my new patrons: Johanna C, Danny Flores, Gutek D, Joe Ackerman, Terrence Cullinane, and Mary Ohm. Thank you all so much for supporting and enabling. You are an enabler. You're enabling this travesty to continue. That said, let's clear the deck. What the heck? Let's clear the deck and let us. Any questions? Please post. If you have a burning question, a burning desire question, there is a super chat. You could donate $1 or $2 to the show, and we could keep this thing going. Let's bring our friend Miss Cap Popper back on. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, hi. All right.
I'm sorted, so I'm back.
All right. I wish I could pee during the show.
I know, dude. It sucks to be the king.
Yeah. Usually, yeah, sometimes when Sid's on and he does record of the week, I give him a full screen like that. And when he has a full screen, I run off to the bathroom. Yeah.
That's great.
So let's think. Well, you know what? This is a good question. And Lori's asking this. Love your style of playing. Favorite bass and type of strings. Now I know I've read that you're not like a gear hound. You're not like I play the super gazointon. But I know, and I'm trying to find the picture. I got to find the picture. But I know you're playing a really incredible instrument. Have you? And it's a P bass. Could you tell us about your main P bass?
So I'm an upright player, from 10. So my first electric bass, there was a guitar store on 48th Street called the New York Guitar Bass Boutique. I don't know if you remember. It was over from remember We Buy Guitars, and they always had an upright bass. So it was like
Are you gonna make me pull the We Buy photo? Okay, go ahead.
Go. My God, I want to copy that photo, please. But this was like one block west. It was a much smaller place. So I went in. I said, "Look, I'm an upright player. I don't understand how electric bass works. Get me something that smells like wood, that's light." So he got this. He got in. He called me and he said, "It's it was like everybody, like Pino Palladino would be there. It was like a bass watering hole. Like everybody would hang out." And he called me and he said, "I have a 1966 P bass. Everything is original." Holy shit, man! That place. That was the place. Like you couldn't have caught me.
Yeah, we would just go and stare in the window, and just stand outside, like fantasizing it as teenagers. Like, you see that over there? That's like what Ace Frehley plays,
And they always had an upright bass in the window that was like $300 or something.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't even get kindling for $300,
and they were all just banged up there, like really expensive, just like with a piece of wire around the headstock, hung up there. It was great.
Dude, please send me this photo if you. I'll remind you. I would love to. But anyway, so long story short, they called me and they said, "We have this bass, but the thing is, these bases are just now super expensive." So they were like, "It's $2,500," and everybody's like, "You're an asshole for spending $2,500 on a bass." You know what I mean? It was right when they started getting more expensive. So I like that bass. I don't care what strings are on it. They've probably been on it for about 8 years. They're flat wounds because that's I'm not with round sound. So I don't care what kind of strings are on. They're just flats. And I had a 67 Guild Starfire for a while, but it was just so it was so woody. It was hard to maneuver. So basically,
is this the bass we're talking about?
That's the one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's the bass that if something happened to that bass, I might just get like a different job because that's the bass that I want. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, trust me, when I
what is
go
this
play
one?
a gig, when I
Yeah.
go play a gig out of town, rent me a bass. I don't give a shit. But like,
What is
that's
this one?
fine. Oh, so I had a Fender deal for like 5 minutes, and they
Right.
sent me a couple basses that just weren't great. But
Yeah.
it was I tried. I tried.
I
That's on Letterman, actually.
That's the Letterman set behind you.
Yeah.
Were you on Letterman with Neil Young, or no? Wait, I know this. You were on
Yeah.
Letterman with Joseph Arthur.
I played Letterman with Joe Arthur, with Grace, with Teddy Thompson. Richard and Linda Thompson's great songwriter, and Ryan. I think twice. Yeah, so we made the rounds over at Letterman.
Cool. Here's a question. Do you have any other creative outlets besides playing and writing music?
It's a plant. It's Gina. It's a really lovely question. And to be honest, I feel like the playing music is like not even the most interesting thing about me. But I'm a big birder. I love taking pictures of birds. I like huge history nerd, and that's why I did the Maybe It's All Right video. Old New York.
I really enjoyed that video. Like the first time I told you as soon as I saw it, I sent you a message. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big history nerd too, and I just love what you did with it. Did Vivian do that video?
Yes. So Vivian Wong, she's a fantastic photographer. It's not even her day job. She's an environmental lawyer. And I said, I want you to make the video. And she said, I've not really had a lot of experience. And I was like, that's what I want you. So I went around during the pandemic. I just bought a car and scouted. I got old pictures from tax records, and then I would look on Google Maps to see because there's some of those buildings that you see, they're 400 years old,
Wow.
And when the people say in New York City, like, oh, the bar closed, New York is over, I'm like, Mark Twain's mug is hanging on the wall with his name on it at the Players Club. Like, there's so much to see. So I have a metal detector, which obviously I've not used much in New York. So I'm a big honking nerd. So yeah, that's, history, but like, I'm not good with dates and names.
Where in the video, the marker, New York, 20 miles or whatever it is, where is that? Is that like Sleepy Hollow or something?
It's in Inwood.
It's in Inwood here?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Everything in there was in New York City proper. And we have tons of unused photos. You know what I mean?
That's great.
We have tons. Yeah. And a lot of the photos, like the Steinway Piano Factory, we couldn't find an angle that matched the, but I have tons of, I call them, then and now photos. It's really, really cool stuff. New York City, such a cool place, man. So old. And there's a Surveyor bolt. I'm not going to shut up about this. I got 2 seconds. There's a Surveyor bolt in Central Park that was laid there in the late 1700s, I guess. They were going to put a street through it, and they didn't. And they left the bolt there. And you can find it. You can Google the place where it is. And that was meant to be, I guess, 59th Street, but the bolt's still there. And then there's another even more secret one you can find. So that kind of stuff that's my kink.
Yeah, I love stuff like that too. That's interesting. Let me see what else. Hobo Cakes asks, what was it like performing on Broadway? I know you were. I know before the pandemic hit, you were in the production Diana, right?
So I played on a show called Head Over Heels, which was another fucking all women thing, but it was a Go-Go's thing, so it made sense. It's okay, Broadway. It's great. It's very clicky, and the clique of people is incredible. And then I was playing on Diana, and I just love being off stage. Like, I don't have my shoes on, I'm eating a sandwich. Like, I love that about the pit. Women of the pit.
any Tourer, as in tour horror story.
Horror story.
Is there a tour horror story? Not that you don't have to. We don't want to incriminate anybody, but you know, I sort of. What did I read that like. I mean, not that it was your breaking point, but like it like you wanted to get off the road when you like there was like two like someone's earplugs were like stuck to the back of your arm, and you're like, I need a break.
It was. I mean, yes. I mean, I'll just say this: my mom's upset because we're going out to dinner, and I'm not wearing a bra yet. But like,
do you have to wear? You can't go out to eat dinner. You have to wear a bra to eat dinner.
It's like, I don't know. We're in the South, so it's a whole thing. I'm not putting a bra on. Like,
right, tits are a big thing in the South still, right?
Yeah, it's a whole conversation. But I would say, oh yeah, basically there's this thing that you guys. I don't know if you guys talk about hot bagging here. Do people talk about that? Like when you're on a tour bus, so you can't shit on the bus unless you have a particular toilet called a grinder. Because the piss goes right into the tank, and then every few days the bus driver empties the tank. So you have to take a shit, and your bus pulls up to the venue at like 5 a.m. You're supposed to be asleep, but if you wake up and you have to take a shit and there's nowhere to go, you got to hot bag it. It means you got to find yourself a plastic bag,
woo,
do your business, and find a place to put that bag. And I will guarantee you, any musician that you ever see, I don't care how fancy they are, they have all hot bagged it. Yeah.
Look, everyone's bringing it up. Chris Contos from Machine Head and everybody knows this term. Everyone's hot bagging, Bing and Flynn. He said, Bing and Flynn. Oh, that's
so like
awesome.
That's not even like a touring nightmare. Like that's just a fact of life. Right. But I'm going to wait till certain people are dead before.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Real talk. Yeah. Hashtag she's going deep.
I mean, that's the thing. And if you think about it, what differentiates one day from another on the road is like your bowel habits. Honestly, if you're on the road long enough, it's like, yeah, we're in Paris, but like I haven't shit for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're talking about on the bus.
I had my body conditioned when I was on tour back in the day. That as soon as the air brakes on the bus, he would engage him. I would wake up and I'd run off the bus because my thing was I want to be the first one in the club, right? First one in the club, and because usually they just finish cleaning it, right? And I would go straight to the woman's bathroom. Not the dude's bathroom, but I go straight to the woman's bathroom. It was only later that I was informed, and I found that the women bathrooms are more disgusting than the men's bathrooms. So
yeah, I mean, it's like a hamster cage in there.
Yes, yeah, but that's what I as soon as the air brakes would engage, I would wake up and my body was just trained. It's duty time, and I would just run off the bus and run to the bathroom. Yeah.
I envy that because I would just shut down for like 5 days. You know what I mean? That would be it. Like it'd be like, no. And plus like half the time I'm the only woman so last thing I want to do is like try to find a women's room. So yeah, it'd be like, I'd tell people, I'd be like, yo, it's been a week since I shit.
I don't want to mention names. I don't want to mention names, but it was Lou DiBella from Sub-Zero who took a crap in one of those toilets on the bus that he did a number 2 when you're only supposed to do a number 1 in. And as soon as we somehow, and it was posted up, do not excrete solid waste particles in the bathroom, whatever. This guy goes and craps in the toilet. The bus driver was so fucking pissed off after that.
Well, and I know we have to stop, but I'll tell you that happened on a bus that I was on, and the only person that we could narrow it down to was one of the founding members of the Grateful Dead. So just saying.
There you go. Hey, I know you got to go. I know you got to get a bra on. I know. There's some Southern cuisine waiting for you. But I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed it. I know our people really enjoyed it. Anybody you want to thank or shout out?
Well, thank you. I mean, I just want to thank Jesse Malin because he took a chance on this like music nerd who is like I know a lot about hardcore and punk, but I was like, I don't. It's like you hired the wrong guy. So he's just, Jesse's my brother, and it's been, nice getting to know you. And I've just met so many great people who, because I never think I'm too good for any kind of music, but I do know a lot of like jazz. People who know about music are really offensive to others. Like they can be real shitheads. And I fucking love music. I love the shit that you're talking about, man. I need to watch the show more. So thank you.
Okay. Have a good night. And I'll see you. I'll see you in New York at some point.
Bye,
and
everybody.
I'll send you that photo if I can remember. And we'll invite you down to the show and you can see everybody in person.
That would be awesome.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Well, how much fun was that, huh?
I have to say that was amazing.
Pretty funny, right?
She's amazing. I love her Instagram too. Yeah, it's really entertaining. Awesome.
Yeah, anybody out there that really enjoyed the show, follow Kat on Instagram. She her Instagram page is really funny, and it's at @Kat_Popper. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, she got a whole bunch of new fans,
Yeah, just super talented, super cool, Like I hope she does come and hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
You're on mute.
I'm on mute?
Nope, Gina.
I was on mute. I said she's really cool, very chill. It would be cool if she came to hang out. And she kept on saying, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. But of course she does. She does just as much as any of us do.
She's being humble. She belongs here. Everybody belongs here. That's what the show's about.
I think when you're creative, you always question your talent and abilities, right? And sometimes you think you have like that imposter syndrome, like someone's done it before me or they're better than me. And no, she rocks. She's great.
Yeah. I love doing shows that are a little bit different. And yeah, listen, I know, I know they're not blockbuster numbers, It's interesting because, listen, it's the New York Hardcore Chronicles, right? The biggest shows we've ever done are like Biohazard, Evan Seinfeld, Vinny Stigmore, Roger Moret, Jimmy Gestapo, like.
Of course.
But this is how we break out and evolve, And it also, like, our differences kind of shows us how alike we are as well. I mean, she's a woman who has struggled with a lot of the things that anybody across any genre would, So.
Yeah.
Funny and way humble.
And on the show, all roads lead back to hardcore in some way or another. I mean, that's sort of the least common. And she's very humble, but the first time, where's that? Let me find that photo again.
Yeah, I like how she was talking about David Letterman. She's like, oh, well, I was on David Letterman. And this person, I was just like, what?
Right.
This photo right here, I think the photo kind of speaks to it. This photo of me performing with her and with Jess and Randy and them, like, yo, we rocked the fucking house.
Yeah,
like this
cool.
was at the Joe Strummer. I did it 3 times with them, and this is the night at the Bowery Ballroom, and like. It was one of those nights where, like, maybe I think I just kind of, sometimes by the luck of the draw, like I think I was like, I was on pretty early in the show, and it was after a few slow songs, and I came up there and did Safe European Home, and we just lit it up.
Yeah,
and she's
great stage presence. I don't know why she was like so, I don't know. Critical of herself, but I think she looks cool up there, and just the fact that she like came on to a podcast. She's like, yeah, I'm not wearing a bra. I'm like, things like today.
She's got a and that's why I wanted to bring. Honestly, that's part of the reason why I wanted to bring her on the show is because she. Just has such a great attitude about the whole thing.
Yep.
And who else who I really who I felt was really great was Doro. Doro Pesh
I
was,
love her.
she's super cool, and she's like that. She's not hung up on, you know,
Yeah, she keeps it real. They keep it real.
I met
And you
her
can tell.
time in the 80s, and she was the same, you know. She was just really cool.
Yeah.
Like a girl's girl, you know, like she could be your friends.
You know, the Doro thing was weird because I'm like, you know, I'm on my social media and things keep getting liked and commented on by Doro. And I'm like, wait a second. So I look at it and I'm like, wait, I'm like, is she watching the show and following my social media? So I reached out to her. I said, hey, I said, you want to come on? And she's like, I'd love to. I'd be honored. I love the show. I'm like, oh,
That's
yo,
great.
okay.
Incredible.
That's cool.
Very cool.
You know, so
Right.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks, you guys. And
Thank you.
when you guys are up next, let me find it and put it up.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, this is another show. This is a guy that I don't know that well. There's some homework to be done here. I love, you know, his art, and he's got multiple bands. But that's John Gussman. I have to get the pronunciation. Is it Gussman or Guzman? I gotta find that out. But that's a week from today, and you guys are up. So
Awesome.
Very cool. Thank you, Drew. Thank you for your support, your continued support, and for you know, from day one, you've been.
Yeah.
It's
we
what
appreciate
I do.
it.
Of course, it's what I do. It brings me joy. So I'll see you guys soon. I'll talk to you.
Yep. See you Sunday.
Well, there you have it. Fun show today. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live. What can I tell you? Good to see you. It's good to see you, Freeman. Hope to see you on Sunday down at the show. Chris Contos, always, bro. Couldn't do it without you, man. Love seeing you out there, Chris. And yo, we got to play together, man. You got to get to New York, man. Eric, yeah, I'm not a hardcore kid, but I love a lot of the bands. This site is all inclusive. Yeah, it is. What's up, Spike Polite? You coming down on Sunday? Thank you, Volt in London. Appreciate it, bro. Larry Kelly, get ready. It's going down. It's going down. And Heggs, man. All right, Heggs. We'll see you on Sunday. I think I covered everything. It was a long show. You know? Actually, you know where I'm going tonight? I'm going to the screening of the Max's Kansas City movie down at Joe's Pub. That Max's Kansas City film that Mike Schnapp was just involved with. Got to go down and show some support, you know? Thank you, Spike. Hey, Spike, I saw that you were at the Dead show. We were there that night also. I saw you. I saw the picture you posted. Yeah, hashtag want real talk. What, you don't want to talk about fucking shitting on the tour bus anymore? You know? God. Oh, shit. Yeah. Here. Listen, let's you want one last touring shit story? And it has to do with Biohazard. Let me know if you really want to hear it. Yeah. So you know what? I'm going to slip one in on you for those that have hung in this long. And I know there's not many. I'm going to announce this show, but Sunday, September 4th. Is that right? Sunday, September 4th. First, you hear it here. It hasn't even been posted in Patreon. From Scream, Wool, and the Foo Fighters, Franz Stahl will be on the show. This should be cool. Got a little bit of a history with this guy. Franz Stahl, formerly of the Foo Fighters, Wool, and of course, DC hardcore legends, Scream, will be on the show. A little something for those that hung in there. Okay, Chris Contos, you'll appreciate this. So, I'm on the Biohazard tour bus, and you couldn't do the number two. We were on one of those buses where you could only excrete liquid waste particles. You could not crap in the John, so to speak. So I don't even know if I should even tell this story. This might not, oh, I feel like, I should shut this one down because this could get me in trouble. Yeah, I don't want to tell the story. Or I don't, you know what? I'll keep it vague. So somebody in the band took a crap on a paper plate. And we were up in the lounge, right? You have the lounge, the back lounge. The back lounge of the bus, had the couch, and it had the a hatch. You could open it up for air, right? You could open up the hatch. You could pop your head out and look, but it was like a square hatch, right? So this individual, and I will say he was a band member, crapped on a plate. And we're a bunch of us are in the back lounge sitting, and he comes into the back lounge where he's like, anybody want some? And we're like, get the right? So laughs all around, right? So the hatch is open, and he's going to take this shit on a shingle and throw it out of the hatch. So we're like, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Right. And so just as he's about to fling it through the window, right, fling it through the hatch, at that exact moment, the bus hits a bump and he flings it, and it catches the side of it and goes flying everywhere in the lounge. This did not go over well. With the other members of the band, people were pissed, and he had to clean it up, and it was nasty. And the back lounge smelled like human feces for like yeah. The second it hit the bump, bam! It hit the. Oh man, yeah, rock and roll, man. I had so many good times with those guys out there. We had so much fun. It's kind of dumb shit you do, Back then, when you're young and you're on tour and you're in a bus, like, wow, let's get crazy. That said, hey, thanks a lot, everybody. Great show today. A lot of fun. Chris Contos, you would know, you toured with those guys. You had a lot of fun with those guys. Robert Hogg, thank you, man. It was great. Hopefully I'll see no show this Sunday. Hopefully I'll see you guys that are in New York area for Sub-Zero down at the Bowery Electric. We'll see you this Wednesday with John Guzman. Until then, do good things and good things will come.